Buonasera. Ci siamo? Sì, ci siamo. Buonasera a tutti. Sempre buonasera. E ben ritrovati. Dunque. Qualche piccola novità. Mi sistemo un po' a favore di camera. Ok. Scusate. E come potete vedere c'è qualche novità a livello di overlay della live. Ho messo un'immaginina simpatica come sfondo e anche lì il counter degli spettatori, giusto per rendermi conto di come può funzionare questo setup. E poi ho aggiustato qualcosina sulla pagina di Twitch e cambiato qualche situation a livello di font e di grafica in generale. In più, piccola novità, eh, sto su questa sedia che vi faccio vedere. È una GT Omega Pro nel modello base, diciamo, quindi nemmeno troppo costosetta, però è un upgrade necessario che tra l'altro mi consente anche di sistemarmi meglio sulla scrivania per giocare, perché è tutta una roba pazzesca di movimenti e di cose che io non avrei mai immaginato in una sedia. E niente, per il resto stasera portiamo The Stanley Parable, un gioco che ormai è vecchiotto ma che io non avevo mai giocato, per cui me lo vado a recuperare stasera. Penso di fare una live così, one shot, non so quanto duri effettivamente, però lo porto stasera giusto per curiosità, ecco. E niente, direi anche di cominciare. E ringraziando sempre Gabratta per l'hosting che è appena arrivato. Sistemo un attimo le notifiche che ho dimenticato di ripristinare dalla radio l'altra sera. Ringrazio anche Danilo che ha messo il follow. Sistemo le notifiche giusto per averle sott'occhio mentre gioco. Sotto orecchio forse è il termine più adatto, visto che fanno un casino della Madonna. E partiamo. Ok. Direi di andare un attimino alla schermata di gioco. Non so perché anche stasera ha deciso di non risparmiarmi sul sound delle notifiche. Noi comunque spero che non ci saranno altre situazioni. Ok. Io il gioco l'ho giusto avviato nel pomeriggio per vedere se girasse decentemente, ma essendo un gioco vecchiotto sostanzialmente non ha nessun problema, tutto al massimo. Abbasserei un po' il volume. Qualità audio alta, altro che. Ok. Abbiamo il gioco. È un titolo molto particolare che io sappia.
This is the story of a man named Stanley. Stanley worked for a company in a big building where he was employee number 427. Employee number 427's job was simple. He sat at his desk in room 427 and he pushed buttons on a keyboard. Orders came to him through a monitor on his desk, telling him what buttons to push, how long to push them, and in what order. This is what employee 427 did every day of every month of every year. And although others might have considered it soul-rending, Stanley relished every moment that the orders came in, as though he had been made exactly for this job. And Stanley was happy. And then one day, something very peculiar happened. Something that would forever change Stanley. Something he would never quite forget. He had been at his desk for nearly an hour when he realized that not one single order had arrived on the monitor for him to follow. No one had showed up to give him instructions, call a meeting, or even say hi. Never in all his years at the company had this happened, this complete isolation. Something was very clearly wrong. Shocked, frozen solid, Stanley found himself unable to move for the longest time. But as he came to his wits and regained his senses, he got up from his desk and stepped out of his office.
E siamo qui, il nostro cubicolo 427. Spero con l'audio sia tutto in ordine. Eventualmente fatemi sapere. Ok. Diciamo che la voce narrante prima ha descritto un po' il paradosso dello schiavo, tra virgolette, nel senso che è una...
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. No matter how hard Stanley looked, he couldn't find a trace of his co-workers.
Allora, possiamo interagire semplicemente spegnendo e accendendo robe. Diciamo il paradosso dello schiavo, che è quello che quando vivi seguendo degli ordini per tanto tempo e poi ti vengono tolti, non sai bene più cosa fare nella tua vita. È un po' quello che succede nel film Rambo. Senza sindrome da stress post-traumatico, immagino. Solo che da quello che ho capito, in questo gioco noi potremo tranquillamente andare contro la volontà della voce narrante, nel senso che è un gioco atipico perché non devi per forza seguire la trama. Quello che io non so, perché non me lo sono mai spoilerato, è che cosa succede.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Qui tecnicamente io potrei anche andare a destra, però. Ma per adesso seguiamo la voce narrante e vediamo cosa succede.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there.
Come risolvere una disputa con un collaboratore? Oddio. Usa le slide per assicurare agli impiegati che tutto sia ok. Tutti siamo unici. Tu. Voi. Il numero di slide in questa slide. Qui nel frattempo c'è di tutto. Profits, profits, profits. Tra l'altro, ecco, il proiettore è lassù. Broom closet. È un ripostiglio.
Stanley stepped into the broom closet, but there was nothing here, so he turned around and got back on track.
Lui dice che non c'era nulla, ma...
There was nothing here. No choice to make, no path to follow, just an empty broom closet. No reason to still be here.
Mi insospettisce il fatto che lui cerchi di scoraggiare a rimanere qui.
That Stanley was still just sitting in the broom closet. He wasn't even doing anything. At least if there was something to interact with, he'd be justified in some way. As it is, he's literally just standing there doing sweet FA. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
E se io scendessi?
But Stanley just couldn't do it. He considered the possibility of facing his boss, admitting he had left his post during work hours. He might be fired for that. And in such a competitive economy, why had he taken that risk? All because he believed everyone had vanished? His boss would think he was crazy. And then something occurred to Stanley. Maybe, he thought to himself, maybe I am crazy. All of my co-workers blinking mysteriously out of existence in a single moment for no reason at all? None of it made any logical sense. And as Stanley pondered this, he began to make other strange observations. For example, why couldn't he see his feet when he looked down? Why did doors close automatically behind him wherever he went? And for that matter, these rooms were starting to look pretty familiar. Were they simply repeating? No, Stanley said to himself, this is all too strange. This can't be real. And at last, he came to the conclusion that had been on the tip of his tongue. He just hadn't found the words for it. I'm dreaming, he yelled. This is all a dream. Oh, what a relief Stanley felt to have finally found an answer, an explanation. His co-workers weren't actually gone. He wasn't going to lose his job. He wasn't crazy after all. And he thought to himself, I suppose I'll wake up soon. I'll have to go back to my boring real-life job pushing buttons. I may as well enjoy this while I'm still lucid. So, he imagined himself flying and began to gently float above the ground. Then he imagined himself soaring through space on a magical star field, and it too appeared. It was so much fun, and Stanley marveled that he had still not woken up. How was he remaining so lucid? And then perhaps the strangest question of them all entered Stanley's head. One he was amazed he hadn't asked himself sooner. Why is there a voice in my head dictating everything that I'm doing and thinking? Now the voice was describing itself being considered by Stanley, who found it particularly strange. I'm dreaming about a voice describing me, thinking about how it's describing my thoughts, he thought. And while he thought it all very odd and wondered if this voice spoke to all people in their dreams, the truth was that, of course, this was not a dream. How could it be? Was Stanley simply deceiving himself, believing that if he's asleep, he doesn't have to take responsibility for himself? Stanley is as awake right now as he's ever been in his life. Now, hearing the voice speak these words was quite a shock to Stanley. After all, he knew for certain, beyond a doubt, that this was in fact a dream. Did the voice not see him float and make the magical stars just a moment ago? How else would the voice explain all that? This voice was a part of himself too. Surely, if he could just... He would prove it. He would prove that he was in control, that this was a dream. So he closed his eyes gently, and he invited himself to wake up. He felt the cool weight of the blanket on his skin, the press of the mattress on his back, the fresh air of a world outside this one. Let me wake up, he thought to himself. I'm through with this dream. I wish it to be over. Let me go back to my job. Let me continue pushing the buttons. Please, it's all I want. I want my apartment, and my wife, and my job. All I want is my life exactly the way it's always been. My life is normal. I am normal. Everything will be
Diventata una
fine.
cassetta motivazionale degli anni 90.
I am okay. Stanley began screaming. Please, someone, wake me up. My name is Stanley. I have a boss. I have an office. I am real. Please, just someone tell me I am real. I must be
Il
real.
panico.
I must be. Can anyone hear my voice? Who am I? Who am I? And everything went black.
Niente, il panico totale.
This is the story of a woman named Mariella. Mariella woke up on a day like any other. She arose, got dressed, gathered her belongings, and walked to her place of work. But on this particular day, her walk was interrupted by the body of a man who had stumbled through town talking and screaming to himself, and then collapsed dead on the sidewalk. And although she would soon turn to go call for an ambulance, for just a few brief moments she considered the strange man. He was obviously crazy, this much she knew. Everyone knows what crazy people look like. And in that moment, she thought to herself how lucky she was to be normal. I am sane. I am in control of my mind. I know what is real and what isn't. It was comforting to think this, and in a certain way, seeing this man made her feel better. But then she remembered the meeting she had scheduled for that day, the very important people whose impressions of her would affect her career, and by extension, the rest of her life. She had no time for this, so it was only a moment that she stood there, staring down at the body. And then she turned and ran.
Così. E niente, giustizia è fatta, dice. Tutto finì. Ah. Beh, quindi dovremmo provare a prendere strade diverse adesso.
Just a step through this door, Stanley thought to himself, that's all I need. If I can make it through this door, I can make it through them all.
Comunque, come idea è fighissimo. Mi pare che ne avessero annunciato il seguito.
Two open doors, he entered the door on his left.
Ci riproviamo, stavolta invece di scendere saliamo, gli diamo retta.
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find an answer there. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Questa si apre. Il bagno dei dirigenti. Qui c'è un computer, 2 telefoni. Qui nulla. E questo in teoria è l'ufficio del capo.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. Shocked, unraveled, Stanley wondered in disbelief who orchestrated this. What dark secret was being held from him? What he could not have known was that the keypad behind the boss's desk guarded the terrible truth that his boss had been keeping from him. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret PIN number.
2845 ed è spuntato un indicativo.
Stanley couldn't possibly have known this. Yet incredibly, by simply pushing random buttons on the keypad, Stanley happened to input the correct code by sheer luck. Amazing. He stepped into the newly opened passageway.
Ma in quale... Ah, si è aperta una fessura. Il fiasco di vino ce lo portiamo? Chianti addirittura, il capo si tratta benissimo. Oh, tra l'altro. Le fogne di Cloud Money, non Monet. I am the most expensive boss. Carte Blanche. E Mont Blanc. E improvvisamente è diventato Soma. Praticamente. No, devo dire che mi ha già sorpreso in 3 minuti praticamente, che è una cosa che normalmente non succede, quindi...
Descending deeper into the building, Stanley realized he felt a bit peculiar. It was a stirring of emotion in his chest, as though he felt more free to think for himself, to question the nature of his job. Why did he feel this now, when for years it had never occurred to him? This question would not go unanswered for long.
Sì, sparito immediatamente all'ascensore. Sì, è
Stanley walked straight
diventato
ahead
Soma.
through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
La via di fuga. Questa cosa è fatta palesemente per renderci mega iper curiosi, praticamente. E la curiosità ammetto che ci sia. Ma quasi quasi scappo.
Although this passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death.
Una morte violenta addirittura. La
The
voce è
door
diventata
behind
meno
him was not
rassicurante.
shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back
Mi
on
vuole
track.
convincere.
At this point, Stanley was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death.
Sei tu che stai dicendo che morirò. Siamo morti veramente? Cosa?
As the machine whirred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Comunque questa voce inquietantissima a tratti. Oh?
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly.
Sono fuggito? In qualche modo sì. C'è qualcun altro che mi ha aiutato?
And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish? When every path you can walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Qui ci sono gli asset praticamente. Questa è la mappa dell'ufficio. Questa ricostruzione mostra l'ufficio dall'inizio del gioco, la strada dall'ufficio di Stanley. Alle due porte sono state la prima parte costruita del gioco. Le sezioni sono state aggiunte e alterate durante lo sviluppo, ma questo nucleo centrale è rimasto inalterato fino alla fine di quest'ultimo, nel senso che non hanno mai modificato il layout di sviluppo di base. Questo corridoio è stato modificato e alterato in modo che il giocatore potesse raggiungere le due porte con una buona tempistica. Il set delle due porte aperte era il primo concreto pezzo di design di The Stanley Parable. Quando questa stanza è stata creata, il resto del gioco è diventata un'estensione di questa, eh, come esplorazione delle contraddizioni generate da questa stanza. E questo tra l'altro ci dimostra come in effetti per fare un gioco interessante non serva per forza creare delle situazioni complicate. Queste sono le porte dell'ufficio. Questi sono i suoni, una selezione dei suoni usate durante il gioco quando si premono dei bottoni. Ogni suono è un mix di tastiere e toni di sintetizzatore. Qui c'è lo staff. La stanza manutenzione. Una versione... Ah, praticamente non volendo siamo riusciti a sbloccare una sezione in cui esplorare vari asset e artwork del gioco. È una delle cose più random che abbiamo mai visto e allo stesso tempo mi piace. Gli orologi da ufficio, versioni differenti della stanza del boss. Divanetti, underground. Ed è esattamente da dove poi siamo scappati. Kevin Brightin, la voce del narratore, ha registrato dialoghi per tutto il gioco, per 3 diverse volte, attraverso 2 anni di sviluppo. Queste sono clip dalle prime registrazioni che non sono state usate nel gioco finale. Molto interessante, devo dire. È inconsueto che degli sviluppatori si sbottonino così tanto su un gioco. Il discorso è anche che è un indie, freedom ending. Quindi c'è un finale in cui si esce dall'ufficio. Questo è un ascensore. Ok, abbiamo un'esplorazione mediamente completa di sto museo, tra virgolette museo. E qui c'è un'uscita.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free.
Che abbiamo
Can you
fatto?
see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen. Listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Oddio. Tutto nero, non si muove niente, non si vede niente. Non posso fare niente. Non capisco se letteralmente ha concluso il gioco oppure aspettando possa succedere qualcosa. Direi che aspettiamo 30 secondi. Comunque nel frattempo ne approfitterei, ringrazio tutti perché siamo arrivati intorno alle 400 visualizzazioni precisamente a 399 visual sul canale. Sono molto contento di questa cosa. Beh, mi pare che non succeda niente, quindi ricominciamo il gioco, torniamo al menu. Tra l'altro il menu stesso è un paradosso, perché c'è un gioco dentro il gioco all'infinito praticamente. Non penso che terrà traccia di quello che abbiamo fatto, quindi dobbiamo semplicemente provare strade diverse stavolta.
I can't wait to tell this story to my co-workers, Stanley thought. How amusing they'll find it. Oh, won't we all just laugh and laugh at the time
Però i
I thought
dialoghi
everyone
cambiano.
had gone missing. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his... This was
Io vado a
not the
destra.
correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Ah, yes, truly a room worth admiring. It had really been worth the detour after all, just to spend a few moments here in this immaculate, beautifully constructed room. Stanley simply stood here, drinking it all in.
Tra l'altro gli sviluppatori si prendono molto in giro con sta storia della voce narrante perché dicono questa stanza perfettamente costruita in modo armonioso.
Yes, really, really worth it being here in the room. A room so utterly captivating that even though all your co-workers have mysteriously vanished, here you sit looking at these chairs and some paintings. Really worth it. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
Cosa c'è nella porta alla mia sinistra prima di attraversare? Mi pare che ogni volta che ci sia questo tipo di texture usciamo dal percorso stabilito.
And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track.
Per cui io dovrei semplicemente tornare sul mio percorso lì attraverso, ma questo enorme bottone rosso mi chiama.
But Stanley didn't want to go back to the office. He wanted to wander about and get even further off track. So now in order to get back, he needed to go, from here it's, left.
Ha appena deciso che dovrei andare a sinistra. È un pochino come se la voce narrante avesse tipo costruito la storia per adattarsi.
No, it's to the right, my mistake.
Ah, ecco.
No, not the right. Why would I have ever said it was to the right? What was I thinking?
Credo che
It's
siamo
clearly...
usciti...
Oh dear, would you hold on for a minute, please?
Sì, siamo usciti dalla sceneggiatura, quindi non sa che cosa fare.
Now, let's see. We went down right, left, down, left, right. Yep, okay, yes. I've got it now. This story is absolutely, definitely this way.
Cioè, inspiegabilmente un furgone con i fari accesi. Oddio.
No. This isn't right at all. You're not supposed to be here yet. This is all a spoiler. Quick, Stanley, close your eyes.
No.
Okay. We just have to get back to, oh, who am I kidding? It's all rubbish now. The whole story completely unusable. How about, rather than waste my time trying to salvage this nonsense, we'll just restart the game from the beginning. And this time, suppose we don't wander so far off track, Okay, from the top.
Ci fa ripartire arbitrariamente perché abbiamo sgamato la sua stanza di controllo.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Decisamente non seguiremo le sue indicazioni stavolta.
When Stanley... Wait. What?
Cosa?
No, I restarted. I swear, I definitely restarted the game over, completely fresh. Everything should be... Well, did something change? Stanley, did you change anything when we were back in that room with all the monitors? Did you move the story somewhere or... Hold on. Why am I asking you? I'm the one who wrote the story. It was right here just a minute ago. I know for sure that it's here somewhere. Okay, then. It's an adventure. Come, Stanley. Let's find the story.
E tutto cambia così. Proviamo ad andare di qua. Texture
I'll say it.
luminose.
This is the worst adventure I've ever been on. I can promise you there definitely was a story here before. Do we need to restart the game again? Well, I find it unlikely that we'll ever progress by starting over and over again, but it's got to be better than this. Okay, let's give it
È
a
un
shot.
labirinto. Ma ha continuato a rimandarmi di
All of his
nuovo.
co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. Okay,
E non ci sono
it's
porte.
west. I might be remembering this wrong. It's possible the story is back where we just came from. Why don't we go back the other direction and see if we missed anything?
Sta succedendo veramente di tutto.
Aha! I knew we'd miss something. The story. Here it comes.
Stiamo girando
wait,
in
never
tondo.
mind. Not the story. Okay, let's head back the other way and retrace our steps.
Oh,
Now this... Well, I'll be honest, I don't recognize this place at all. Is this the story? I don't think so. I can't quite recall, but I believe my story took place in an office building. Is that correct? Do you remember, Stanley? Well, do you know what? Since I've completely forgotten what we were supposed to be doing, how about this? You win! Congratulations! I know you put in a lot of hard work.
What the
It
fuck?
really paid off, so good job. Oh, no. No, I don't feel right about this at all. We both know you didn't put in any actual work for that win. Some people win fair and square, and this was not one of those situations. Okay? I'm getting weirded out by whatever this place is. I don't care what might happen this time. I have to restart.
Che cosa succederà ancora?
All right, I've got a solution. This time, to make sure we don't get lost, I've employed the help of the Stanley Parable Adventure Line. Just follow the line. How simple is that?
Una linea da seguire. Che adesso non va più dove doveva andare.
You see? The line knows where the story is. It's over in this direction. Onward, Stanley, to destiny. Though, here's a thought. Wouldn't wherever we end up be our destination, even if there's no story there? Or to put it another way, is the story of no destination still a story? Simply by the act of moving forward, are we implying a journey such that a destination is inevitably conjured into being via the very manifestation of the nature of life itself? Whoa. Hang on. That got a bit weird back there. Well, I'd like to apologize. Not sure where I was going with all that.
È un trattato di filosofia sto gioco.
What we need right now is a bit of music to lighten the mood.
È completamente pazzo comunque. La linea sta male proprio. Ma ci sono due linee adesso? Cosa è cambiato?
Wait, cut the music. Go back and look at that fern. Stanley, this fern will be very important later in the story. Make sure you study it closely and remember it carefully. You won't want to miss anything.
Non so se mi sta prendendo per il culo. Io però mi sta spingendo a giocare in modo non convenzionale, quindi mi sa che una foto col cellulare gliela farei. Poi probabilmente mi ha solo preso per il culo, cioè non...
Wait,
wow.
We're back at the office? No. Line, you do know we're looking for the Stanley Parable, right? The story? Is any of this ringing a bell?
E siamo di nuovo qui.
No, not again. Line, how could you have done this to us? And after we trusted you, after everything we've been through, you... Oh, I can't take this anymore. To hell with it. Restart.
Non ne usciremo fuori mai.
You know what, Stanley? I say forget the adventure line. What's it ever done for us? We're intelligent people, right? Why can't we make up our own story? Something exciting, daring, mysterious. Ooh, this all sounds perfectly doable. Why don't we simply start wandering in, well, I don't know. How about this direction? Now, yes, this is exciting. Just me and Stanley forging a new path, a new story. Well, it could be anything. What do you want our story to be? Go wild. Use your imagination. Whatever it might be, Stanley, I'm ready for it. Oh, no, not you again. Stanley, I'd also like to veto the line from having any role in our awesome new story. No lines or monitor rooms. Just don't acknowledge it, and we should be fine.
Incuriosisce tantissimo.
Ah, a choice. We get to make a decision. From here, the story is in our control. How important we mustn't squander the opportunity. In fact, I believe I need a minute to think here. Just walk in circles for a minute. Okay, so I know that each door has to lead somewhere, which means that somewhere, the place where we're trying to go, there must be a reverse door that leads here. And that in turn means that our destination corresponds with the counter-inverted reverse door's origin. So starting from the right, let us ask, will taking the right door lead us to where we're going? And since the answer is clearly yes, then by all accounts, the door on the right is the correct one. Another victory for logic. Come, Stanley, our destiny awaits.
The confusion ending.
Oh, hold up, what's this? The confusion ending. You're telling me that's what this is? It's all one giant ending? And we're supposed to restart the game, what, eight times? That's really how all this goes? It's all determined? So now, according to the schedule, I restart again. Then what? Am I just supposed to forget? Well, what if I don't want to forget? My mind goes blank simply because it's written here on this thing, wall. Well, who consulted me? Why don't I get to decide? Why don't I get a say in all of this? Is it really? No, it can't be. I don't want it to be. I don't want the game to keep restarting. I don't want to forget what's going on. I don't want to be trapped like this. I won't restart the game. I won't do it. I won't do it. I won't do it. And the timer stopped? Does that mean, did we do it? Did we break the cycle? The, whatever it is that made this schedule? How would we even know? Will someone come for us? Will something happen? So, okay. I guess now we just wait. You know, I suppose in some way that this is a kind of story. Wouldn't you agree? I'm not quite sure if we're in the destination or the journey, though they're always saying that life is about the journey and not the destination. So I hope that's where we are right now. We'll find out, won't we? Eventually. Well, in the meantime, if you do happen to have a...
Cosa?
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
È stato di nuovo tutto resettato.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left. This was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Wow, yes, this room. What a beauty. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left.
E se stavolta andassimo di qua?
Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Non saltare dal cargo mentre è in movimento. Causerà morte. Penalità per uso sbagliato del cargo, $1.000. Penalità per saltare fuori dal cargo, 5.000. Cowabonga.
But in his eagerness to prove that he is in control of the story and no one gets to tell him what to do, Stanley leapt from the platform and plunged to his death. Good job, Stanley. Everyone thinks you are very powerful.
Dovevo provarci.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room.
Se adesso noi sfruttiamo una variabile, cambierà l'ufficio del capo.
The lounge was sublime, a work of art. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance
Se adesso noi seguiamo la sua
section, walked straight ahead to
indicazione,
the opposite door, and got back on track.
cambierà ancora l'ufficio del capo? O sarà sempre lo
Yet there
stesso?
was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Ok. E l'ufficio del capo è ancora qui.
Stepping into his manager's office, Stanley was once again stunned to discover not an indication of any human life. What could it mean? Stanley wondered aloud to nobody. He began wildly tearing through papers on the boss's desk, pulling books off the shelf, looking behind paintings, desperate for clues to his situation. But his attention was caught by a keypad behind the boss's desk. What could its purpose be? In fact, this keypad guarded the terrible secret that lay buried below his feet. And so the boss had assigned it an extra secret. Stanley was in such a rush to get through the story as quickly as possible, he didn't even have a single minute to just let the narrator talk. That kind of anxiety isn't healthy. So he relaxed for a few moments with some calming new age music.
Si è offeso perché gli abbiamo messo fretta.
Feeling soothed and rejuvenated, Stanley calmly walked forward into the opened passageway.
E siamo di nuovo al passaggio segreto. Ci sono variazioni. Adesso c'è la stanza del controllo mentale, quella in cui non eravamo entrati prima. Secondo me in realtà è un inganno, però
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed
Siamo
with
sotto.
television screens.
Eravamo
What
lì.
horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
Siamo arrivati sempre in questa stanza da un'altra prospettiva.
Now the monitors jumped to life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing. This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly?
Un ascensore.
No. He refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never. It was unthinkable, wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world?
E su questo ci sarebbe parecchio da discutere.
But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy, or sad, or content. Walking, eating, working. All of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery would never again exert its terrible power over another human life, for he would dismantle the controls once and for all.
Ma la domanda è, questi altri tasti cosa fanno? Presumo niente a questo punto. Comunque, ora capisco il successo che ha avuto questo gioco. C'è plot twist di quelli proprio clamorosi. E i pulsanti, come previsto, non servono veramente a nulla. Idle aspettano un input. System
And when at
power.
last he found the source of the room's power, he knew it was his duty, his obligation, to put an end to this horrible place and to everything it stood for.
Potrei spegnerlo o accenderlo, quindi. E se noi lo spegnessimo?
Blackness and a rising chill of uncertainty. Was it over? Yes. He had won. He had defeated the machine, unshackled himself from someone else's command. Freedom was mere moments away. And yet, even as the immense door slowly opened, Stanley reflected on how many puzzles still lay unsolved. Where had his co-workers gone? How had he been freed from the machine's grasp? What other mysteries did this strange building hold? But as sunlight streamed into the chamber, he realized none of this mattered to him, for it was not knowledge or even power that he had been seeking, but happiness. Perhaps his goal had not been to understand, but to let go. No longer would anyone tell him where to go, what to do, or how to feel. Whatever life he lives, it will be his. And that was all he needed to know. It was perhaps the only thing worth knowing. Stanley stepped through the open door. Stanley felt the cool breeze upon his skin, the feeling of liberation, the immense possibility of the new path before him. This was exactly the way, right now, that things were meant to happen. And Stanley was happy.
Achievement sbloccato, finisci il gioco. Ma non ci sono gli achievement. E tra l'altro abbiamo appena ricominciato. C'è un telefono.
Hi, Stanley. Just wanted to leave you a message to let you know there's a few things I need you to pick up on your way home from work today. We need milk, cereal, dish soap, spaghetti, get a thing of sugar, some bread, and coffee beans, whichever ones you like. I'll give you a call if there's anything I forgot. Thanks, sweetie. See you tonight.
Una voce gli ha dato la lista della spesa. Il narratore non c'è. Non sta parlando nessuno.
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
In realtà vorrei
This
capire
was
cosa
not the
succede se
correct way to the meeting
accendiamo.
room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Standing now in this incredible room, Stanley for the first time, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. And so he detoured through the maintenance section, walked straight ahead to the opposite door, and got back on track. Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office. Hoping he might coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Vorrei capire se effettivamente adesso ci sarà di nuovo lo stesso percorso.
Okay, I think we all know the drill by now. Blah, blah, blah. Dark secrets, the keypad, Stanley pushes some buttons. Oh, hey, look, it's a new passageway. Quelle surprise.
Ah. Lo ha direttamente aperto. Non ha pazienza. Dunque adesso, se è tutto
Stanley walked
vero,
straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility. The lights rose on an enormous room packed with television screens. What horrible secret did this place hold? Stanley thought to himself. Did he have the strength to find out?
fin qui siamo di nuovo
Now the
sullo stesso
monitors jumped to
percorso.
life, their true nature revealed. Each bore the number of an employee in the building, Stanley's co-workers. The lives of so many individuals reduced to images on a screen, and Stanley, one of them, eternally monitored in this place where freedom meant nothing.
Sì, fin qui ci siamo. Ascensore.
This mind control facility, it was too horrible to believe. It couldn't be true. Had Stanley really been under someone's control all this time? Was this the only reason he was happy with his boring job? That his emotions had been manipulated to accept it blindly? No, he refused to believe it. He couldn't accept it. His own life in someone else's control? Never! It was unthinkable. Wasn't it? Was it even possible? Had he truly spent his entire life utterly blind to the world? But here was the proof. The heart of the operation. Controls labeled with emotions. Happy or
È
sad
arrivato il
or
momento di
content.
andare ad accendere
Walking,
questo macchinario.
eating, working, all of it monitored and commanded from this very place. And as the cold reality of his past began to sink in, Stanley decided that this machinery... Oh, Stanley, you didn't just activate the controls, did you? After they kept you enslaved all these years, you go and you try to take control of the machine for yourself. Is that what you wanted? Control? Oh, Stanley, I applaud your effort, I really do. But you need to understand, there's only so much that machine can do. You were supposed to let it go, turn the controls off, and leave. If you want to throw my story off track, you're going to have to do much better than that. I'm afraid you don't have nearly the power you think you do. For example, and I believe you'll find this pertinent, Stanley suddenly realized he had just initiated the network's emergency detonation system. In the event that this machine is activated without proper DNA identification, nuclear detonators are set to explode, eliminating the entire complex. How long until detonation then? Let's say, 2 minutes. Ah, now this is making things a little more fun, isn't it, Stanley? It's your time to shine. You are the star. It's your story now. Shape it to your heart's desires. Oh, this is much better than what I had in mind. What a shame we have so little time left to enjoy it. Mere moments until the bomb goes off. But what precious moments each one of them is. More time to talk about you, about me, where we're going, what all this means. I
Allora,
barely
facciamo
know
così.
where to start.
1,
What's that?
2.
You'd like to know where your co-workers are? A moment of solace before you're obliterated? All right, I'm in a good mood. You're gonna die anyway. I'll tell you exactly what happened to them. I erased them. I turned off the machine. I set you free. Of course, that was merely in this instance of the story. Sometimes when I tell it, I simply let you sit there in your office forever, pushing buttons endlessly and then dying alone. Other times, I let the office sink into the ground, swallowing everyone inside, or I let it burn to a crisp. I have to say this, though, this version of events has been rather amusing. Watching you try to make sense of everything and take back the control wrested away from you, it's quite rich. I almost hate to see it go. But I'm sure whatever I come up with on the next go-around will be even better. My goodness, only 34 seconds left. But I'm enjoying this so much. You know what? To hell with it. I'm going to put some extra time on the clock, why not? These are precious additional seconds, Stanley. Time doesn't grow on trees. Oh dear me, what's the matter, Stanley? Is it that you have no idea where you're going or what you're supposed to be doing right now? Or did you just assume when you saw that timer that something in this room was capable of turning it off? I mean, look at you. Running from button to button, screen to screen, clicking on every little thing in this room. These numbered buttons, no, these colored ones, or maybe this big red button, or this door. Everything, anything, something here will save me. Why would you think that, Stanley? That this video game can be beaten? Won? Solved? Do you have any idea what your purpose in this place is? Stanley, you're in for quite a disappointment. But here's a spoiler for you. That timer isn't a catalyst to keep the action moving along. It's just seconds ticking away to your death. You're only still playing instead of watching a cutscene because I want to watch you for every moment that you're powerless. To see you made humble. This is not a challenge. It's a tragedy. You wanted to control this world, that's fine. But I'm going to destroy it first, so you can't. Take a look at the clock, Stanley. That's 30 seconds you have left to
30
struggle.
secondi.
30 seconds until a big boom and then nothing. No ending here, just you being blown to pieces. Will you cling desperately to your frail life, or will you let it go peacefully? Another choice. Make it count, or don't. It's all the same to me, all a part of the joke. And believe me, I will be laughing at every second of your inevitable life from the moment we fade in until the moment I say, happily ever up.
Sta succedendo qualsiasi cosa, porca miseria. Che facciamo? Ricominciamo da capo? A quanto pare no.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo. When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, he entered the door on his left.
E se io ora entrassi a sinistra come hai detto tu?
Yet there was not a single person here either. Feeling a wave of disbelief, Stanley decided to go up to his boss's office, hoping he might find... Coming to a staircase, Stanley walked upstairs to his boss's office.
Beh, sappiamo tutti come finisce, no?
Here's the door, just go.
Si è rotto le scatole, anche lui. E tadam. Cosa potremmo fare per variare la situazione adesso?
Stanley walked straight ahead through the large door that read Mind Control Facility.
Fuggirò di
Although this
nuovo.
passageway had the word escape written on it, the truth was that at the end of this hall, Stanley would meet his violent death. The door behind him was not shut. Stanley still had every opportunity to turn around and get back on track.
Vediamo se sarà
At
di
this
nuovo
point,
uguale a
Stanley
prima.
was making a conscious, concerted effort to walk forward and willingly confront his death. spurred into motion and Stanley was inched closer and closer to his demise, he reflected that his life had been of no consequence whatsoever. Stanley can't see the bigger picture. He doesn't know the real story, trapped forever in his narrow vision of what this world is. Perhaps his death was of no great loss, like plucking the eyeballs from a blind man. So he resigned and willingly accepted this violent end to his brief and shallow life. Farewell, Stanley.
Farewell, Stanley, cried the narrator, as Stanley was
Esatto.
led helplessly into the enormous metal jaws. In a single visceral instant, Stanley was obliterated as the machine crushed every bone in his body, killing him instantly. And yet it would be just a few minutes before Stanley would restart the game, back in his office, as alive as ever. What exactly did the narrator think he was going to accomplish?
Credo che ci sia rimasta forse
When every
un'altra
path you can
variabile.
walk has been created for you long in advance, death becomes meaningless, making life the same. Do you see now? Do you see that Stanley was already dead from the moment he hit start?
Nello sviluppo, nel primo sviluppo, avevamo creato un finale in cui Stanley sarebbe finito su un campo di battaglia combattendo gli alieni. Il gioco d'azione sarebbe diventato senziente e avrebbe fatto la guerra al narratore. Abbiamo realizzato soltanto poco dopo aver iniziato a costruirlo che era un po' troppo scherzoso e sul naso, on the nose, non so cosa sia, per i toni del gioco. In più alcune persone l'avrebbero interpretato come prendersi gioco di quelli a cui piacciono gli shooter, che non era nella nostra intenzione.
Oh, look at these two. How they wish to destroy one another. How they wish to control one another. How they both wish to be free. Can you see? Can you see how much they need one another? No, perhaps not. Sometimes these things cannot be seen.
Quest'altra voce narrante in realtà parla di noi e del narratore.
But listen to me. You can still save these two. You can stop the program before they both fail. Push escape and press quit. There's no other way to beat this game. As long as you move forward, you'll be walking someone else's path. Stop now and it'll be your only true choice. Whatever you do, choose it. Don't let time choose for you. Don't let time...
Ci sono riflessioni interessanti da fare sull'idea di libero arbitrio dietro sto gioco. Il messaggio di fondo, seppur espresso in modo così nonsense, è che siamo noi a decidere la nostra vita. C'è un'ultima variabile che voglio esplorare.
Stanley had never seen the office this brightly lit. Was it a sign of something? He hoped it was. He hoped very much that it was. When Stanley came to a set of two open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. Stanley felt lightheaded. butterflies in his stomach. But eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago.
Quello che non avevamo fatto prima perché eravamo praticamente
Look, Stanley,
morti.
I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley.
Ma se io scendessi qui morirei.
What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
Altri bivi. Per ora seguiamo.
Thank God you are willing to listen to me. Do you see that I really have wanted you to be happy all this time? The problem is all these choices. The two of us always trying to get somewhere that isn't here. Running and running and running, just the way you're doing right now. Don't you see that it's killing us, Stanley? I want it to stop. We would both be so much happier if we just stopped. And I think I have a solution. Here, let me show you. What do we want? What are we looking for? Here. Yes. Oh, it's beautiful, isn't it? If we just stay right here, right in this moment with this place, Stanley, I think I feel happy. I actually feel happy.
È un'esperienza pazzesca.
No, wait. Where are you going? Oh no. Stay away from those stairs. If you hurt yourself, if you die, the game will reset. We'll lose all of this. Please, no, Stanley, let me stay here. Don't take this from me. No! Oh, thank God. No, what are you doing, Stanley? Please, I'm asking you not to take this away from me. I can't go back to what I was before. If you die, we'll both go back. Why are you doing this? Stanley?
Non ci permette di morire.
Yes, perhaps you can. Perhaps you finally see what I'm talking about. I know you'll see.
E se io mi gettassi da qui?
Can't be happy if we leave this place. You can see that, can't you?
Giochiamo un altro po' con lui.
No, perhaps not.
Forse il terzo salto sarà la
My
volta
God.
buona.
Is this really how much you dislike my game? That you'll throw yourself from this platform over and over to be rid of it? You are literally willing to kill yourself to keep me from being happy. Am I reading the situation correctly? Or maybe you're just getting a kick out of it. I don't know anymore. I just wanted us to get along. But I guess that was too much to ask. It looks like you wanted to make a choice after all. Well, this one is yours. Do you actually want to stay alive? Or are you just teasing me? I wanted us to be happy here, Stanley. I really did. I wish I still thought that was possible.
E di nuovo lo prendo in giro. Dice di avermi dato una scelta, quindi vuol dire che forse stavolta funzionerà. Ciao ciao.
Is it over? It's going to restart, isn't it? I'm going back.
Anche lui è intrappolato come noi.
All of his co-workers were gone. What could it mean? Stanley decided to go to the meeting room. Perhaps he had simply missed a memo.
Se adesso prendiamo la porta blu invece, cosa succederà?
When Stanley came to a set of 2 open doors, this was not the correct way to the meeting room, and Stanley knew it perfectly well. Perhaps he wanted to stop by the employee lounge first, just to admire it. The lounge was grand, majestic, perhaps too majestic, but eager to get back to business, Stanley took the first open door on his left. Stanley was so bad at following directions, it's incredible he wasn't fired years ago. Look, Stanley, I think perhaps we've gotten off on the wrong foot here. I'm not your enemy, really, I'm not. I realize that investing in your trust in someone else can be difficult, but the fact is that the story has been about nothing but you all this time. There's someone you've been neglecting, Stanley. Someone you... What? Really? I was in the middle of something. Do you have zero consideration for others? Are you that convinced that I want something bad to happen to you? Why, I don't know how to convince you of this, but I really do want to help you, to show you something beautiful. Look, let me prove it. Let me prove that I'm on your side. Give me a chance. Now listen carefully, this is important. Stanley walked through the red door.
E se attraversa quella blu?
Aha, perhaps you misunderstood. Stanley walked through the red door. I still don't think we're communicating properly. Stanley walked through the red door.
E invece...
All right, fine, go ahead, Stanley. You want to know so badly what's out there? You want to find out what lies at the end of this road you've chosen? Well, don't let me stop you. You see, there's nothing here. I haven't even finished building this section of the map, because you were never supposed to be here in the first place. Broken rooms, exposed developer textures. Is this what you had wanted? Was it worth ruining the entire story I had written out specifically for you? Do you not think I put a lot of time into that? Because I did. And in the end, it was all for nothing. Because this is what you wanted to see. Help me here, Stanley. Help elucidate these strange and unknowable desires of yours. What would have made this game better? What did you want to see? Vehicles? Skill trees? Work with me. You've given me absolutely nothing so far. Tell you what. Let me take a stab in the dark at a new design, and you can give me some feedback. There we go. A third option. This already feels leaps ahead of where we were before. Go ahead, Stanley. Take it for a spin. Okay, I'm going to stop you there. Now, tell me about your experience with this new version. Would you say that the game benefited from allowing you more choices? Feel free to be honest. I'm looking for some real critical feedback here. Aha! You see, I knew I was onto something. Where do these flashes of inspiration come from? How did I know the game needed a third door? Well, it's instinct mostly, a calling in your gut. I really couldn't say where the idea came from, except that I felt it in my soul. You can't teach that, Stanley. Don't even try. Here, based on the data from your previous playthrough, I've compiled a new version. And to be perfectly candid, I think I've knocked it out of the park with this one. Let's take a look.
C'è una leaderboard. È come se ci fosse una speedrun.
Now, would you say that competitive leaderboard helped you feel motivated to keep walking through doors? Again, honest answers, please. Hey, I nearly forgot. I've got a prototype of a new game I've been working on, and now would be a lovely opportunity to give it some playtesting. You wouldn't mind taking a look at it, would you? Perfect. Let me boot it up.
Sostanzialmente ora sta dando corpo agli sviluppatori.
The baby crawls left towards danger. You click the button to move him back to the right, and if he reaches the fire, you fail. It's a very meaningful game, all about the desperation and tedium of endlessly confronting the demands of family life. I think the art world will really take notice. But of course, the message of the game only becomes clear once you've been playing it for about 4 hours. So why don't you give it 4 hours of play to make sure it's effective? Be sure to keep notes on your experience.
La cosa più stressante del mondo.
You heartless bastard. Did you do it because you hate babies or purely to spite me? Because if it's the latter, well, I don't know what to do. I'm completely out of ideas. I can't think of a single thing that might improve the experience for me. I'm not even going to try. I'm out, I'm done. It's over. Thank you for playing. Your input was extremely valuable. Oh, hey, since my game was so awful, why don't we play someone else's game? Just to ease the pain. Let's see. What do we have here? Yes, this seems like it'll work. Let's give it a shot.
Che succederà?
Well, Stanley, is this any better? At
È
last,
Minecraft.
something you've always desired. A game I had absolutely nothing to do with. But is it enough? Tell me that, Stanley. Will it ever be enough?
Sono dei
But I'll say
pazzi.
this, I'm done making things for you. From now on, I will only create to fulfill a greater artistic purpose. Watch this, Stanley. I'm going to build a house. This will go here. No, here. And then...
È veramente Minecraft.
Let's see, what does it need? Yes, of course. And just to finish it all off, yes, it's complete. I made this, Stanley. Look at it. Gaze upon my work of art and feel ashamed at your own inadequacy. But you've only seen it from the outside. You've only gotten half the experience. Please, step inside and make yourself comfortable. Isn't it grand? Isn't it perfect? It could only be better if... Wait, that's it. We must rebuild it out of diamond. Diamond everything. Yes. Come along, Stanley. We have to go mining.
Non ci sto credendo mai.
Oh my, it looks like it's going to get a bit dark. Have you brought a light?
Non c'è modo di interagire comunque.
Oh, no. This is far more open-ended than I had in mind. I'm looking for something more narrow and linear. Something that makes you feel utterly irrelevant. This won't do at all. 1 out of 5. Even the diamonds couldn't save this one. Okay, new game.
Sta succedendo qualsiasi cosa, è bellissimo. Proprio non mi sentivo così stupito da un sacco di tempo.
Yes, I don't even know what this game is, but I love it. You, trapped in a glass box with no way out, listening to me talk. Oh, it's inspired. I couldn't have done it any better myself. What is this game even supposed to be? I can't figure it out. Okay, now I'm curious. Let's go find out what the hell this is.
Ma è Portal, cos'è?
Oh, it It's a puzzle. Critical thinking, Stanley. Your forte.
È diventato praticamente Portal.
Genius. No, actually, you know what? I think that's plenty. I really don't care much to see you stumble through any more of these games.
Wow. E adesso? Tutto ha assunto comunque una dimensione molto più sinistra ora. Luce. La luce è sempre un prompt visivo indicativo. Attenzione. E mo?
I wonder what he found. If what he wanted was to be the leading man in his own story, well, perhaps he's gotten it. Down in wherever he is right now. I wonder if he's happy with his choice. And if he's learned the heavy cost that comes with it. He'll understand soon what I was trying to tell him. He needs me. Someone who will wrap everything up at the end to make sense out of the chaos and the fear and the confusion. That's who I am. That is what I mean to this world. Oh, yes. Yes, I'll be back. There's no other way. Once this ends, after it all comes to a close, then I'll be back. The end will be here soon. Very soon. I can wait.
È diventato ai confini della realtà. In verità, ragazzi, per stasera mi fermerei qui. Sono piacevolmente sorpreso. Grazie PC per avermi fatto suonare di nuovo i tasti. Sono parecchio sorpreso, molto contento dell'esperienza e non so se lo continuerò da solo o qui in live, eventualmente vedremo. Però è stato molto divertente, molto fa riflettere parecchio. E niente, come al solito è stato un piacere essere qui, spero di aver fatto compagnia a qualcuno, anche se oggi diciamo che non c'è stata un'affluenza particolarmente elevata, ma mi fa comunque piacere. Che dire, ringrazio per essere stati qui, è stata una bella live, per me è stato molto divertente, quindi vi rimando ad un prossimo appuntamento, che a questo punto sarà la domenica con gioco di ruolo tra Baldur's Gate o Dragon Age Inquisition. Penso di continuare Inquisition perché sono parecchio fomentato. Grazie mille come sempre e buona serata a tutti voi.